From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Friday, July 4th, 2025. I'm Steve Prentice. Microsoft asks users to ignore Windows firewall config errors. This issue seems to appear for some users on Windows 11 24H2 systems after rebooting their systems following the installation of the June 2025 Windows Non-Security Preview update. Warnings appear in the event viewer as Event 2042 for Windows Firewall with Advanced Security with a config read failed warning and a more data is available message. Microsoft says this is a, quote, known issue, end quote, caused by a, quote, new feature that is still under development and hasn't yet been fully integrated with the operating system, end quote. The alert can be safely ignored, they said, and a fix is on its way. Undetectable Android spyware leaks user logins and becomes detectable. Cat Watchful, as one word, is a monitoring application marketed as a parental control application for Android and which allows users to, quote, view content from a victim's device in real time, tap into the microphone and cameras, and access photos, videos, chat logs, and location, end quote. The product is described as undetectable and hides its presence to prevent being uninstalled by the victim. Unfortunately, a researcher has discovered that the app is prone to SQL injection attacks, and because of this, quote, the plain text logins and passwords of all 62,050 Cat Watchful accounts, along with details linking accounts to devices and tracking administrative data, end quote, have been made visible. According to Security Week, quote, Android users can also check whether the spyware has been installed on their devices by dialing 543210 and then pressing the call button. This is apparently a built-in backdoor feature that makes the spyware reveal itself to be uninstalled. Cisco warns of hard-coded credentials in enterprise software. This is a critical vulnerability with a CVE number and a CVSS score of 10 out of 10. In its announcement made Wednesday, Cisco stated that it applies to its Unified CM and Unified CM SME communication management software and could allow attackers to log in as the root account. In its advisory, Cisco says the problem exists because, quote, the enterprise management tools contain default static credentials that cannot be removed or changed, end quote. On Wednesday, Cisco announced patches for the critical vulnerability and has, quote, released a path file, which is expected to roll out this month. Hunter's ransomware group shuts doors, blaming changing times. The group, famous for attacks on Indian multinational Tata Technologies and Chinese-owned ICBC Bank, has announced it is closing down business and offering decryption keys to its victims. In an announcement that resembles the type disseminated by larger legitimate businesses, especially when job losses are involved, the Hunter's message blames what it calls recent developments and an overall sense that collecting ransoms is no longer as easy or rewarding as it once was. It calls the decryption offer a gesture of goodwill. However, researchers at the security firm Group IB have already predicted that the same team behind Hunters is rebranding as World Leaks, which, quote, uses an extortion-only model whereby attackers steal a company's data and holds it to ransom without deploying any kind of file encryption, end quote. Huge thanks to our sponsor, Palo Alto Networks. You're moving fast in the cloud, and so are attackers. But while SecOps and cloud security teams are working in silos, attackers are exploiting the gaps between them. Cortex Cloud by Palo Alto Networks bridges this divide, unifying teams and stopping attacks with real-time cloud security that includes AI-powered protection, detection, and automated response capabilities. Threats are stopped in minutes instead of days, and teams can finally protect cloud environments at the speed and scale of modern attacks. To learn more about how Cortex Cloud stops cloud attacks before they become breaches, visit paloaltonetworks.com/CDR. That is paloaltonetworks.com/CDR. Medical device company Surmodics reports cyberattack. Based in Minnesota, Surmodics, Surmodics, is the, quote, largest U.S. provider of outsourced hydrophilic coatings used to reduce friction for objects such as intravascular medical devices, end quote. Its IT team observed unauthorized access in its network exactly 1 month ago, forcing the company to shut down parts of its IT system and to find alternate ways to receive and process customer orders. This is the third publicly traded medical device company to report a cyber attack to the SEC in the last 8 months, the other two being Artivion and Massimo. While now partially restored, the scope and details of the IT data stolen by the hackers are still being analyzed. No group has claimed responsibility, and the company says no proprietary data or third-party information has been released. North Korean hackers find yet another way to hack through Zoom. Although we have covered this topic a few times in the past weeks, this one differs in the payload and is therefore worthy of note. The Blue Noroff APT based out of Pyongyang is following the same social engineering path of inviting a victim via Telegram to a Calendly invite, which takes them to a Zoom meeting. In this instance, rather than exploiting a faked faulty audio situation, the victim is instructed to, quote, run a malicious script posing as a Zoom SDK update, end quote. The script's execution triggers a multi-stage infection chain leading to the deployment of malicious binaries that Sentinel-1 collectively tracks as NIMDOR, N-I-M-D-O-O-R. Department of Justice investigates ex-ransomware negotiator over alleged extortion kickbacks. The individual under investigation is a former employee of Digital Mint, quote, a Chicago-based incident response and digital asset services company that specializes in ransomware negotiation and facilitating cryptocurrency payments to receive a decryptor or prevent stolen data from being publicly released, end quote. According to an initial report from Bloomberg, the DOJ is investigating, quote, whether the suspect worked with ransomware gangs to negotiate payments and then allegedly received a cut of the ransom that was charged to the customer, end quote. Digital Mint has confirmed that one of its former employees is under criminal investigation and informed Bleeping Computer that it terminated the employee after learning of the alleged conduct, end quote. Salt Typhoon largely contained in telecom networks, says FBI. Brett Leatherman, new leader of the FBI Cyber Division, has told Cyberscoop that Salt Typhoon, who were, of course, quote, the Chinese hackers behind the massive telecommunications sector breach, are largely contained and dormant in the networks, locked into the location they're in and not actively infiltrating information, end quote. Leatherman adds, however, that does not mean they no longer pose a threat, specifying that, quote, the longer they have a foothold inside telecommunications networks, the more ways they can create points of persistence, end quote. Just a reminder that there will be no Super Cyber Friday or Week in Review shows today. The Week in Review returns next Friday, July 11th, and Super Cyber Friday returns the following Friday, July 18th. You can always find out the details and register to participate by visiting the events page at cisoseries.com. And if you have some thoughts on the news from today or about the show in general, please be sure to reach out to us at feedback@cisoseries.com. We would love to hear from you. I'm Steve Prentice, reporting for the CISO Series.
Cybersecurity headlines are available every weekday. Head to cisoseries.com for the full stories behind the headlines.